Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for chatting with me. I'm sorry it's taken us so long to get this off the ground.
No, it's
So happy
okay.
to see your face.
Same, same.
You look gorgeous,
So
as
do
always.
you. So do you.
I think the last time I saw you, we were on the cliffs
Throwing
by the
ashes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
That's quite a few minutes since then. I don't
It
know. That
has.
was what was it? 2, 3 years ago, I
I
guess.
think
So
so.
I'm so happy to see you. And
Same.
I've thought about you so much. I've texted you this a few times, but I wish you were on social media because I am so grateful to you for being in our movie and for doing such a beautiful job because I receive all your accolades.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Good, good, good.
Well, for people who are watching this, she was in Blue Eyed Girl and played a character who's experiencing a lot of grief and loss and connects with Beau Bridges' character. And they kind of forge this beautiful friendship. And I think, Eliza got to fly in and be flashy and funny. And so people say when they see the movie that they laugh and they cry. So she makes them laugh and you make them cry.
There you go. Good combination.
Yes. Yes, but I feel so fortunate that you did it. I remember the day you shot that monologue because I wasn't there. It was like one of the only days I wasn't on
Oh, you
set.
weren't there? Oh, wow. I didn't
And then
realize
I
that.
showed up at the very end and everybody was like, Mills was like, come here, come here, come here. You got to see this. You got to see this. And like did playback and was just like, oh my God. So
Bravo, bravo.
incredibly happy that you
Good.
delivered on every level. So
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So I think we met initially via Zoom, correct? I think that's how you
Yes,
came on board with the movie, right?
yes.
And I guess I thought we would talk for a couple minutes about the movie if you're open to that and like
Sure.
what drew you to the character and kind of your experience exploring that stuff. I mean, the irony of us chatting is that, as you know, the movie comes from a pretty personal place. And when I watch your monologue, it is very hard for me to watch because it's a lot of fragments of truth in that monologue, and like the thing about the brown sweater, like that's what happened. I think maybe I told you this that day when we were shooting, but didn't hear from my dad and didn't know where he was and put that sweater on. I remember thinking when I put it on, like so let's talk a little bit about your character and I'm doing all the talking. So you talk.
Oh, yeah. No, no, no. I like to hear you talk, actually. I I think when we were talking on Zoom initially, way back when, we were talking about grief
Yeah.
and what is that exactly,
Yeah.
and how people go through that process.
Yeah.
And some people shut down.
Yeah.
They still function, they still do their job as she did, but there's a wall, that if she were to touch, it would be a dam, which I think is what happens. The dam breaks, and she never, to some degree, never had that opportunity to really release all
Yeah.
of that because revisiting is so painful. And I think and it's not it's an attraction to Beau's character. It's not sexual. It's from heart to heart.
Completely.
And I don't think that she had that. And he touched that in her. And they fell in love in another way,
Yes. And a
And
soulmate kind of friendship way.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 100%. And sadly, my husband just lost his mother about a few weeks
Right.
ago, and I'm watching him go through that process.
Yeah.
And I think men are different in how they express, and his expression is just he's working. He's
Yeah.
working. And that's
Yeah.
his usual state. His usual state is I'm working, I'm working. And everyone keeps saying, "How is your husband? How is your husband?" It's a really great question because I'm
We'd
not
love to.
sure that yeah, yeah. And I'm not sure that he's expressed it
Yeah.
fully yet, because I think he doesn't think he has time to do that, so
And like you said, I think most people are so afraid to look it straight in the eye because God only knows what's going to come up. And it's like, I mean, you're not to be so lofty, but your inner child is like, it doesn't matter how old you are when you lose a parent. It's
right.
so traumatizing because there's a part of you
Very.
forever feels like I'm only safe in the world with my parent, assuming you have relationship with your parent that's healthy, you just feel lost in the world. And
Yes.
even if you're 75 years old and you lose a parent, it's
Yes.
disorienting. And it's like you
Yes.
it's almost like the more years you have with that parent in a weird way, the more I talk to my mom every day. Like so yeah, it's a very tricky process. And like, some people, I mean, I was really, I remember when we met you, looking you up and seeing you're very, very trained. I mean, you really have like a lot of, and you teach, correct? You teach acting as well?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself method? Because I've felt on set so many moments when we would interact. Not that you were like, I can't talk, I'm in character, but I felt a shift in you that I felt like you kind of were in character. Is what I would love to hear you speak to that process.
I'm got too much training. That's part of the problem. I went to NYU undergrad and studied at the Lee Strasberg Theater Institute, and so I guess my foundation is that. And then I went on to Juilliard, and I can't say that there's one way. You Different teachers brought different things. I think they had
Yeah.
the Juilliard philosophy of the whole actor, but
Yeah.
you draw what you can from your teaching. I mean,
Yeah.
from your education, and then you become whatever that actor you become, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah. Completely. You take what works and discard the rest.
Exactly.
And yeah, because I just remember meeting you. I think we met in real life the day that you were like sort of meeting him on also,
Yeah,
on
we all met the first time, yeah.
in the hospital that day that you were supposed to be as a character meeting him. And I just
Right,
remember even when we wrote the character description, it was like she's almost like those flowers that like go like this at night and then go like this through the day and then go like this.
right.
And that's how I envisioned that character. And that's how you seemed. Like you seemed very like you had, because your character anyway, because of the grief and everything, you'd sort of just made yourself smaller. And then as you got to know him, you kind of opened up and shared so much of you that you just sort of bloomed. And it was such a beautiful thing to see. And then to see the finished product in the movie, it was just so, so cool. And like I said, the number of people that have come up to me and said that they just, were blown away by you and cried and, so, and for me,
I think that's a really good the flower analogy, I think, is really quite lovely because I do think she's shut off.
yeah,
She in some way, she's shut off.
yeah.
But yeah, that's a great way of wording it.
And so since then, I know you're doing some Will Trent, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
And how's that been?
It's so wonderful to enter a set that's such a well-oiled machine,
Yeah, I bet.
so that you just slip in and find your groove in that machine that's so well-oiled. There's no
Yeah.
mistakes, there's no drama, there's no stuff.
And
So
what do
it's
you
been
play on it?
I play I don't even know my character's name. Isn't that embarrassing? Evelyn. My name is Evelyn. There we go.
That's a
Ding, ding,
proof
ding,
that
ding,
you've played a
ding.
lot of fun characters.
Her name is Evelyn, and I play the mother. I'm a retired police captain, let's just call it that. It's not really that, but
Okay.
whatever. And my daughter is a detective, it
Okay.
a detective, and I'm the mother of this young woman who works for this particular agency. And coincidentally, the woman who is in charge of the agency is also my best friend.
Okay,
So it's
great. That's fun.
yeah.
So are you
And
doing a bunch of episodes?
I have I think I've done it's been on they're going into their 5th season, which is amazing. And girl, they shoot 22 episodes.
Gosh, really? They're like the last one
Honey,
standing.
they are one of the last ones standing. It's
Well, good for
crazy.
them. That's
That's what I
great.
say. Good for
Oh my
them.
God.
Because
Can we
as
just
you know,
wait all
it's
22
really
days?
hard. It's really hard right now in the business.
It is. So I wanted to talk about that. And I mean, I think it's like, obviously, part of the reason I wrote the movie was because I wanted to explore kind of women, midlife. My character is an actress in the movie, is an actress who's not exactly doing the acting she wants to be doing. But, the whole movie was about kind of like, how do you find yourself in midlife and pivot and figure out what your next chapter is going to look like. So I've interviewed Sam, Freddie, and Bo. And so I haven't interviewed any of the women in the movie yet. And I was super
Okay.
excited to talk to you because we've both been in the trenches of Hollywood for a long time.
Very
And
long time.
it's crazy to witness. Not only are we changing in that we are a touch older than when we began, but also the industry's changed so much. So I was just so curious to talk to you and see like kind of your thoughts on how to adapt and how it's felt for you and has there been good and bad, just like what's been hard about it, what's been great about it cuz I don't know, I have a lot of thoughts.
Think for me, what's been hard is, well, now it's just drying up. It's just
Yeah.
really, really, really drying up.
Yeah.
And I don't work a lot, which is very, very challenging. And there's this thing that, cream rises to the top. Hang in there, just hang in there. But as you hang in there, you're getting older.
Yeah, I know. Although you
And
don't seem to age, but yes, I
girl,
hear
please.
you.
But you do, and they can look you up on Google and see what your birthday is, so
Yeah.
that's another factor, right, in it, and I find it very, very challenging. I mean,
Yeah.
even to get a teaching job is hard, so it's hard.
It is hard. It's crazy. And I'll never understand it because I feel like there's more shows on the air than ever. So I'm completely confounded as to how the math works on that. Like, why are
I'm
there
with you.
shows I don't even know how to keep up with and no jobs for any of my friends, like for anybody. And I mean, maybe there are more jobs if you're 25, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's confounding to me.
Think there are more jobs for younger people. I mean, I just think that's just the nature of the beast. They want, you know, n
Yeah.
new people and
Yeah.
new name
Yeah.
and I think you're the future and the logic of write your movie,
Totally. I mean,
write it. And you did, which is an extraordinary, extraordinary accomplishment on your part. I hope that you're proud of yourself and really appreciate what you did.
thank you. That's nice of you to say. I mean, I do. And yet, I feel like all you can do then is like, okay, what's next? There's no like, okay, great. Let's sit back and relax and
No,
write a shot. There's just like, okay, what are we writing next? What are we producing next? How are we making the next chapter work? And I do think that if you
exactly.
don't have a lot of like natural self starter entrepreneurial instincts, it would be extremely hard to navigate because the old days of like the phone ringing and here's, pilot season and
It's
it's
over.
over. I mean, it just is. And so, but there is like fortune favors the brave, an opportunity for people who can go create something and rise above the noise with, but I mean, that's a lot of effort. It's a lot of self-starting effort. And like I did this and I learned a lot, but I feel like then I have to take what I learned and figure out how to do the next thing. And it's a lot. It took a lot of courage to do this one. It took a lot of effort to do this one. And it's
But you
hard to
did
know.
it. I mean, that's the beauty of it is that you accomplished that, and it's a big noodle in your hat or a feather in your cap, and then it's what's next,
Yeah.
and you can't stop.
Are you teaching right now?
I wish I were. No, I'm not. The only thing that's on the horizon from that part of my world is I'll be going back to Juilliard in September to direct a fourth-year project, and so I'm
Oh,
really the piano lesson by August Wilson. So I'm
my
really
god.
excited about that. I love
Will you
teaching.
stay there then for a while or
I will stay there as my husband counted the days. He said, "It's 40 days, you know." So,
that's so cute. In a good way or a bad way?
well, that's a really good question.
That's so cool though. So
Yeah.
speaking of feathers in your hat, okay. So I'm looking you up and it's like I had to write it down. You've been nominated and or won so many awards, girl. Like what?
No, that's not true. That looks like that. I was on The Practice, and we won an Emmy, and it's not like I won the Emmy, but,
Well, the ensemble won the Emmy.
I
You're
won a
in the
won a
ensemble.
Golden Globe, so had that experience. That was
Yeah.
cool. And then I did it I similar to you, I directed and produced and wrote a documentary,
Yeah, but
co-produced
he
a
won a Peabody
documentary.
Award for
And
that.
we won a
That's
Peabody for that, and we won AFI for that, and it was on HBO, and that was
cool.
really a and that's almost 20 years ago. It's a long time ago. It is 20 years ago. Yeah, it's 20 plus years ago. That's
That's
a long time.
so incredible. I wanna watch it. I was reading about it,
Dude.
and it sounds incredible.
Yeah,
It's
I probably have to send you a copy because I don't think it's streaming anywhere or doing anything right now, but
I
yeah,
would
I
love
would love for
to
you
see
to
it,
watch
but,
it.
I mean, I don't know, this says I was like, Obie Award, Peabody, AFI, Clarence Derwent Award, Image North, NAACP. I mean, I don't know. Seems like a lot of awards.
It seems like from another life. It seems like such a long time ago, but yes, I have been fortunate. I am very proud of my accomplishments, but I'm sure like you go, "Is this it?"
It is. I mean, it is like that. But and lately I feel like I did a movie that they're making a third one. And so that's
Great.
been fun because it's like one of those things from back then is paying off with the
Lovely.
dividends of we shot it in the last fall. It's coming out in August. So that's super
What is
fun.
it? What's the project?
It's called Super Troopers. It's like a really broad comedy, but we made
Love
one it came out in 2001, and then we made another one that came out in 2019, I think, and then we made another one that comes out in August. So
Oh,
that's
brilliant.
one of those rare unicorn moments where you're like, okay, all that stuff I did, actually, here it is paying off. But you're right. It's hard to be like, okay, this just feels like that. But so tell me, we were both on a David Kelly show. How was that experience for you?
Lovely. It was such a wonderful group of actors, and David wrote an incredible show. I mean, he's a wonderful writer, and it was just a wonderful experience. And those were back in the days where you actually had a quote and made some money, and which of course
I
doesn't
know.
exist anymore.
No.
So for all sorts of reasons, it's
Yes.
it's still my retirement money.
And how long were you on the show?
I was on the show for 6 years.
Wow. I mean, I only did a recurring thing on a couple seasons of Boston Legal, but I was so blown away by his writing because I don't know if you experienced this, but I was on the show when the flooding thing happened in New Orleans.
Katrina.
Yeah. And Katrina happened. I, don't work for like 2 days. I come back that end of that week and there's a script on my desk that's about Katrina and like some lawsuit that happens. I was like, how does he do that? He would just
Yeah,
take current events, metabolize them, crank out a script in like 24 hours, and
right.
then we would deliver it. And it was just unbelievable. Did you find
Yeah.
the same thing on the practice?
Yes, the scripts were just amazing,
Amazing.
and it was a real unique opportunity to work under his tutelage, so to
Yes.
speak, and be a part of that company. Everybody really it was another well-oiled machine. It was really good,
The
really good.
best. I mean, I wish
Yes.
he does have a new show, so I just
What's
started
his new
watching.
show?
It's called Margot's Got Money Troubles, and it's got his wife is in it, and then, Elle Fanning is in it.
Is that she's in that? Because there's another thing that Michelle is in with
Yes,
with Kurt Russell, but that's
yes,
different.
both shows. I don't know how she but
She
but
got
yeah,
lucky.
exactly, exactly. We just need a David Kelly husband. Is that too much to ask for? To write us magical words all the time.
Exactly, exactly.
So tell me more about you have a movie coming out called By Any Means? Is that
Little tiny, 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 tiny little role in that. I think I worked for, like, a day, maybe. I don't even think it was more than a day. It was a quickie.
okay?
But, yeah, it's actually, a true story, which I had no idea that I'm not gonna get this right. It's something like Mark Wahlberg plays a mafia character, and supposedly I don't know if this is Hoover or who the hell it is, but utilize the mafia to come in to investigate and find who killed civil rights individuals who had been murdered I don't know.
Okay.
It's a I have no idea, girl, what it was, but I enjoyed being a part, and they gave me I liked being there, and the cast was great, and I had done a film with Mark a billion years ago called Truth About Charlie with Jonathan Demme,
Okay.
and he remembered me miraculously, and
Really? That's how you got the job? He just brought you in because he remembered you?
no, he did not bring me in. Girl, I had to audition for that bad boy.
Girl, that makes me mad.
I auditioned for that bad yeah, it is what it is.
So what of all of I mean, you've done Shakespeare. I was looking, it was like Measure for Measure at New York Shakespeare Festival. You've done a ton of Shakespeare, right?
Yeah, a lot in another life I did, yes, when I was younger, I did a lot of Shakespeare. I did. Everything is in my
So of
younger
all these,
days.
which of these things do you feel most, proud of, or the characters you love the most? You've played so many great characters.
I'm I got my first movie with Jonathan Demme was Beloved, and Toni Morrison's book, Beloved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got to play the young Oprah played the older version of Setha, and I played the younger version of Setha, and I'm really proud of that work that I did in the film. I because my character was in the past, I didn't get to work with all of the other actors, so to some
Yeah.
extent, it felt like my own little movie because
Yeah.
it focused around the experience of this character, of this true
Yep.
story, of this woman, and I'm just very, very proud to have been a part of that. I got to work with Athol Fugard, who's a South African playwright, and we did a play called that he wrote called Valley Song, and it was a three-character play with 2 actors. He played 2 characters, I played a character, and I'm always very, very proud of that. I feel more comfortable on stage and feel more powerful and more centered and focused in theater. So the work that I've done in theater, I'm really happy to have had that opportunity to do those things.
Where did you perform the three-character play?
We did it off Broadway. We did it at Manhattan Theater Club. We did it
Okay.
there. We did it in the Kennedy Center, and we did it at the Taper here in
That's
LA.
incredible.
So yeah, so
And
we
do you
did
do
it
much
almost a
theater in
year.
LA?
Pardon me?
Do you do much theater in LA currently? Do you like
I did a play. No, I don't do a lot of theater here in LA. I wish I did more. You really need to affiliate yourself with a theater company, and
Yeah.
I haven't pursued that. So
Yeah.
I do need to try to sneak in somewhere to do some theater
Yeah. I mean,
because
I feel like any one of them would be so lucky to have you. That would be
wow, well, I'm gonna have to do a little videotape of you saying that so that I can pass that out.
well, we're gonna have one, so I'll send it to you. So then to circle back about, the midlife of it all, I'm curious what your experience has felt like. I mean, you and I are in the same boat. We're married, we have kids, we're juggling real life and career. I mean,
Mhm.
this career anyway. And I don't know, what has your experience been kind of doing the midlife shuffle and the themes of the movie kind of, the pivoting and the reinventing and the wearing all the extra hats and
Mhm, mhm. It's a jumble, and I haven't figured it out. I haven't quite figured out I know I have some friends who have pivoted into producing new theater in New York, which I find very fascinating. How do they do that? How do
yeah.
they I think even one of their I'm speaking of Sharon Washington, and I think one of her projects was nominated for a Tony. So
Yeah.
she's done that. I have friends whom have become teachers. That's how they've been able to stay alive. And I envision that somehow morphing in that way because I love teaching and I love working with students. I haven't been brave enough or bold enough to start my own studio or to be a private coach. I think
Yeah.
about that often. I have to figure out how to make that work. How do you rent a space and how do you work with students and that kind of stuff because I don't have a house that's conducive to that necessarily.
Yeah.
And then, it's funny you should mention that we initially met by Zoom. Zoom auditions are the bane of my existence.
Tell me about it.
I I'm so disappointed in the casting process.
Oh, it's so awful now. You don't
It's just it used to be you could go in, they see you, you see them, and they give you notes, and they're supportive of you, and
yeah.
they want you to win. They want,
Yeah.
the good ones do.
Yeah.
And that whole relationship, I mean, COVID changed
I
so
know.
many aspects of the business, and I feel like they got lazy, and they go, "Well, we could do it this way." I'm a terrible, terrible on tape by myself audition person. And I know some people really love it. Some people get off on it and really but
I
I
mean, the only good thing about it, I guess, is that you can do it over and over until you feel good about it, but, like,
guess.
if you're like me, I don't really like any of them. It's just, like, gross, bad, no, delete, because 'cause we're just not I'm much better off walking into a room with human beings, re
Exactly.
feeling the energy of the room,
Exactly.
performing like you would in theater.
Exactly. Exactly.
It really works against a lot of I think most actors probably are more on the side we are, that they thrive with more of a live audience feeling.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, what?
Yes.
I'm in the basement, my dogs are barking, my kids are running up and down the steps. I'm like, "This is a disaster."
I pay $75 a pop. I do that. I
Wow.
go and have it done because it's just easier that way, and it's crazy.
It is crazy, and it's very hard for anyone, I think, to rise above the noise and get a job because, they're just sifting through a million tapes, and how do
Yep.
you
Yep.
gotta worry about how you're lit and all the I just can't. It's
And
terrible.
now all the different mergers and AI,
I know.
it's a very challenging time.
It is. It is. Although you could be a coach over Zoom. I feel like that might benefit
Oh,
if you
that's
don't
interesting.
want a space because I feel like I've worked with people like this, just like because I mean, practicing wise, performing wise, it works fine. And
Right,
I
right.
think people would love that to be able to sit and work with you and just to make their choices and whatever.
Mhm, mhm. That's a great idea.
Do you have like an all-time best or worst Hollywood story? Could be auditions, whatever. I mean, I've
One experience, this was on The Practice, and I will not name the director, and very sensitive to how people speak to me and the direction how they give that direction, and I was very sensitive about my character on The Practice in that I wish I worked more. I didn't I wasn't one of the lawyers. Eventually, my character did become one of the lawyers, but I didn't really have a lot to do on the show, and a director told me, "Just move over there," and I I I could have screamed. I could have screamed. I was like, "Just move over there. What the? Do you know who I am?"
Well,
So
did
I
he say
hated that.
something?
I've had that, but I've been very, very fortunate in that all the projects that I've done have been above board, and and even when I have small roles, I think I had fun playing Condoleezza Rice in Vice.
Yes,
Right.
that's cool.
And the makeup for it was just so brilliant that I really didn't have to do too much to create her.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really loved Beloved.
And you did, The Gilded Age, I saw.
I did. Little time roll.
What did
Yes,
you play on that?
I oh, you're gonna ask me that. I played she has a very long name. Frances Evelyn Harper. Oh
'Cause
my
don't they do, like,
god.
some real historical people and
And
some
I
fictional
played an
characters?
historical character. Anyway, yes, I did. I'm really good friends with Cynthia Nixon, and so it was
Oh,
a real
you are?
treat to be on the set with her.
Well, that's
We
so
did a play
fun.
together in 1990 something or other, and, have been friends ever since, so
Oh, that's so great.
yeah,
That's
so it was nice to I got to
I love
be with
that.
her on Sex and the City in one episode and then play this, so that was fun.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
And so I mean, again, like I've seen Bo a few times. We did a KTLA thing together and then he did a Zoom interview with me too. And, he just loves you so much. He's always like, can Lisa Gay be a part of this? Can we, Will. And I thought it was so sweet because your relationship was kind of reflective of the relationship in the movie because he just really loves you. But how was your experience with Bo and with, that relationship?
There was a wonderful actor by the name of Bill Cobbs, he has since passed away,
Yes, I
and
worked with him.
oh, yeah, did you?
Yes.
Loved
Yes,
loved him, and
loved him. What a
the
gentle soul.
documentary that I did was on an actress by the name of Bea Richards, and Bea got to do an episode of The Practice, and I got to interview this is a roundabout way to answer your question, and I did an interview with Bill, and he said of Bea that you didn't have to do anything when he didn't have to do any work when he was with her because
Yeah,
you just had to be
yeah,
there, and that's how I felt with Bo, that you
yeah.
just had to be there. I mean, he's a master at his work anyway, and given who he is and his stature and all the different people that he's worked with over his very, very long, prestigious career, and I didn't have to do anything. I just
Yeah.
had to just be there with him, and those are the best moments of any actor's journey, I think, is when you work with those other actors who are so good at their craft,
Yeah.
and it's not like they're acting, they're just being, and that's what it was like with Bo, that I could just be there,
Yeah.
he's so available, he's so open, he's so
Mhm.
honest with his work, and he's wonderful in the film. He's just wonderful.
I feel the same way because I've commented a few times that there's that moment there's several moments that we have, and obviously again it's blurring the lines.
I'm so sorry.
No, no problem. It's blurring the lines in my life between my real life and my fictional life, no matter what, because there are lines he says that are literally like things my dad once said to me, whatever. But
Right.
when he does that monologue, when he's sitting in the hospital bed, and I just remember I kept saying, I'm not going to cry. I'm just going to do some takes where I don't cry, because then I'll do some takes maybe where I react. I couldn't, because I would get so immersed. I was just in it. Like I wasn't making choices at that point. I was just like, I'm just an audience member listening to this story, and I'm going to react how I react, because
Yes.
he's so natural and so honest and
Yes.
just such a kind-hearted human too, that you
Yes.
lean into him no matter
Well,
what.
100%.
Y-
100%. That's a
But
great
you
way of
too, and your
describing it.
chemistry was just so beautiful. And I think good for people. I mean, obviously you're a lot younger than Bo, but I think that at least for Bo's peers, I think people really responded to the notion also of a second chance at,
Mhm.
that like just because, you lose your spouse and you're in your 70s, or it doesn't mean like
Yes.
over it. And he
Yes.
met you and felt like so invigorated by this person he could actually picture with. And I just think I was so grateful for the casting process actually going in the right direction for once. Instead of
Glad
me,
you worded it that way.
because it worked, and it works.
Yeah.
And I think my mom is close to Bo's age and single, and I think it's just a life affirming thing to see people choose. There are more adventures ahead. It's
Yes.
not, you know.
Yes. Yes. I agree. I
So let me think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. So, I mean, I kind of was curious what I asked you what you're most proud of. What are you most passionate about? Would it be teaching, do you think? It seems like I love
I
it.
I love actors. I
Yeah.
absolutely positively love actors, and I love actors who are very, very serious about the craft and are invested in the craft of it, and I'm passionate. I'm I I'm probably one of the last persons in the country to finally watch The Pit. I haven't, finally I'm watching The Pit, and it's wonderful to watch people do their work.
Yeah.
It really is wonderful, and when it's done well, and when they're given the space to do that, and I just love good work. I
Yeah.
love it, and to be an intricate part of helping an actor figure out what is it. The woman I did the documentary about, Bia, her teacher was Frank Silvera, and he created something called the theater of being, and the word being was a very intricate part of the philosophy. And the definition of being is mortal existence in a complete and perfect state, lacking no essential characteristic. To be. So when you're acting, it's that sweet zone, right? Where, as you say, I'm not making conscious choices necessarily. I'm just really being here under the circumstances of the character of the movie, of the play, of the story. And to be able to find that sweet spot. And I love watching actors who just know how to get there and know how to be in that moment without it appear like acting is just a wonderful gift, I think, that actors have and can do that, those that do it well. So yeah, I guess I'm passionate about the craft. I'm
Yeah.
passionate about I mean, I love acting. I absolutely love it.
And so how do you have, like, if you're not in a theater group and in LA you don't do as much theater as you did, how do you find your community of I mean, do you have a big community of actors? Because I mean, that's isolating in LA if
It
you're not,
I feel don't make this a therapy session, girl, please don't. I didn't have to, like
run. We can edit this out. But yeah, I mean,
No, no, no. I think often I don't know what my life would be like without my husband and my children.
hmm,
You know, I that's my day. You know, even though I have a 15-year-old, a 23-year-old, they still are a very integral part of my life and my day-to-day
that
life.
makes me feel better because I'm like, wait, one of them is about to turn 17. I'm like, you better still hang out with me, dude.
Wow. Yep, they move on, girl.
Don't. I'm not
They
ready for that.
Is
But
he
that's
ready
why I
for
have
college? Is
four.
that what he's thinking? That's right, you do have 4.
Yeah. Now, he's only going to be a junior, so I have time, but not that
Yes.
much time. You know how it flies.
No, it goes fast.
It does go fast. But I like we moved here and I struggled a lot with that lack of creative community. And now I have found more of that here, but it took me a
Lovely.
find it. And still, I would say it's not it's not like it's not like we're doing theater. We're doing, comedy. We shoot a bunch of stuff, but it's for you, given your background in theater, I would think, yeah, you like have to find your people.
You know what? I have not found my people. This is very true. I have not found my people yet. As old as I am, you think I would have. You know what? I really miss New York a lot.
Yeah.
I grew up in New York and I grew up in the New York theater community and regional theater, and I miss that.
Yeah. How long have you been in LA?
Since the practice, which was 95, 90.
Okay. And do you ever consider like leaving LA or what? I don't know what
You
your
know what
husband does.
happens? I'm you get the crown of loving cold weather. I don't know how you do it.
I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to go back. This winter almost killed us all. We're like, what are we doing here? And then I took my kids to LA for like a long break and they're like, hold on. So we were born here. You moved us there. And why? I'm like, I don't know, actually. Don't ask any questions because I don't have a good answer for you.
So every day that we get older and we go to visit New York and we visit and we experience the cold, we go, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can
No.
do this. But I do miss it. And so it is nice to go back, and going back
Yeah,
to direct in September. I'm really looking forward to that. And it's
I bet.
New York in the fall, so it's not that bad. Um,
So I have one more question for you, and this isn't even interview related. It's just life because we're talking about all this stuff related. What is there a reason you don't do any social media? Because I feel like I hate to say this, I hate to be pro social media, but I do think that it would help you feel more connected because like I've reconnected with so many people and in our community it's helped me to feel more connected to people. I
so
don't know.
when you say social media, what platform are you referring to specifically?
Instagram the most.
Hmm. But don't you, when you do Instagram, you have to say, hi, I'm in Florida today and I'm eating ice cream.
No, you don't have to. But you could like we this is I'm just saying this for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sake
yeah, 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 yeah.
for you. I mean, especially if you would like want to coach people and want to do that, there's like you're almost in a vacuum if you're not able to communicate some way through I hate to say it, but through social media. And I feel like if we posted clips like you could I feel like you could build that business if you were out there a little bit more. But you can literally just put what you want to put up and then you don't have to be chronicling every hamburger you eat. I promise you. You know?
So are you do I know nothing about it. So I need to my son says it too to me all the time. Why aren't you
Help
doing this?
you. Let's get you out there.
Well, let's talk about it because I don't even know how to begin. My husband's not on social media,
Yeah.
and he's a world-renowned professor and he refuses to do he just
Really.
refuses. Yeah.
You
He
do.
doesn't like doing it. And I just never have thought of it as a platform, but I guess it is. I guess
It
it
is.
is.
I hate to say it because I hate that we're all walking around doing this, and it's not like I wanna advocate for that. That being said,
It's a
you know,
business.
we're talking about how times have changed, and if you don't adapt, it's hard, and I feel like for
Right.
you, I use it as a tool to remind people that I'm alive.
Mhm.
I use
Mhm.
it as a tool to remind people of the things I've done. And
Right.
I post clips of things I'm proudest of to be like, "Hey guys, remember this? I did this thing and I'm still that person and I can do more of that." Because otherwise you just get lost in all the noise. And I
Yeah.
feel for you, you are so freaking accomplished.
Mhm.
And it
I have missed opportunity. When I first got here, going to premieres and even going, I like why do you go to movie premiere when it's not your movie, you know? But
Yeah.
you go so people can see you and so
Yeah.
that you can do and I never understood it.
Yeah.
It's not my film. Why am I here?
Get it. Like I had to get over it because of this movie. I was like, wait. So we sold it to Quiver, and it was like, so Quiver, what's your like social media campaign going to look like? They're like, oh, we don't believe in that. I'm like, wait, what? We don't think there's a good ROI on social media. I'm like, but then how are people going to know it's out? I mean, I'm assuming you're not doing billboards and buses going by. And they're like, we just rely on word of mouth. I'm like, guys, I'm not famous enough for word of mouth. Like, we need actual press. And so I just started forcing myself to get out of my comfort zone and just
Good for
post and
you.
post, post and post. And it's helped. It really has
Wow.
helped. And then because of it, it's pushed me out of the comfort zone with the rest of my career to just be like, okay, I'm just going to start posting about and so now I'm a lot more comfortable in the last 6 months than I ever
Yeah,
was. And I was the
yeah.
same way. Like, what am I going to post about? This is dumb. Like,
Right,
no one
right.
needs to know I'm in Florida eating ice cream, like you said. So I don't necessarily do that, but I do post on a professional level pretty frequently now. And I think
Nice.
we'll talk about this. And then if
Okay, we
you
will. We should.
save these clips and then when you're up and running, I'll collaborate with you and then it'll drive people to know you're there if you want.
Okay. All right. I'll take you up on it. Sounds good to
Okay.
me.
Tell your son. Your son and I will get on the phone. We'll figure this out.
Sounds good.
I can't thank you enough for talking to me.
No, it's been lovely.
Lovely to see you. Again,
Same.
for the people watching, she stars in my movie Blue Eyed Girl. She's fantastic. You have to watch her in it. You'll cry. Spoiler alert. And let's just stay in touch. I'm going to be out
Yes.
there soon, so I'd love to see you in.
Yes, please, please give a holler.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful to see you. Thanks for your
Same.
patience with my platform.
No, and I'm so apologize for all of the keeping you
No, no,
waiting.
I
I'm
think it
so
worked out
sorry.
perfectly. So thank you a million.
All right, sweetie.
All right. I'll
Bye.
text you when we have it edited and we'll get you up and running.
Okay. See
Okay.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.